Secret Church happening right now. You don't know because you're watching this. Go to our Instagram and our Facebook, Owl's House Students, and do the survey. When you do the survey, we'll know that you're engaged with us. We'll send you where we're going to be next week. Secret Church. Shh. It's a secret. What an encouraging video there. We are to be carriers, not of coronavirus, COVID-19, hopelessness, despair. We are to be carriers of the very hope that is Jesus Christ. And it's not just that Jesus died on the cross, but that he lives now in us, and we live and move or have our being in him, and that makes us different from this world, and it makes us a carrier of the hope of this world. To be honest, you are the hope of this world, because you are what Jesus entrusted the kingdom to. I'm pumped about that, and I want you to be too. I don't know about y'all, but I've been watching TikTok. I'm kind of a TikTok fan, and you know, we showed some I think last week, and so this week I ran across one that was just super awesome, super cute, and super.
It has to be shut down for everybody to be safe.
Yeah.
And it's just not fair because everything that is fun also has to be shut down.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is open is nothing. Nothing. Nobody has to go anywhere because they're shut down. The ice cream truck is shut down. We can't go anywhere. Not even McDonald's, which is my favorite restaurant.
McDonald's is shut down too. You can pick up McDonald's in the drive-thru.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can. You can go in the drive-thru, but you can't go on the playground.
Yeah, it's just really frustrating. If you go through the drive-thru, it's just boring because you have to wait for your food to come. And if you're inside playing on the playground, it wouldn't be boring.
Yeah.
And now they have to shut down.
I don't know about y'all, but when she said the only thing that is open is nothing, I felt that. I felt that deep. That was about how I felt mid-June when I realized camp wasn't going to happen. I started figuring out that Go Weekend wasn't going to happen. I had the same kind of emotions as this little girl. And it's just funny. Then the other thing that she said that is on a real level is the drive-thru is boring. Listen, saying that the drive-thru is open is fine, but don't say that that's a substitute for the play place. Don't try to substitute no drive-thru with no little baby Happy Meal with the play place and the playground. And the bad thing is, on the playgrounds, they got them open now, so y'all can see them. Like, you can see them. They're not outside; they're inside. You can see them. It's just there taunting you. And what is it with the caution tape over all the playgrounds? What are we doing? We're traumatizing little babies. Caution tape on all the playgrounds. But man, tonight we're gonna do a little different. We're gonna do worship after, and we're gonna play a worship song from our buddy Josh Nichols, and he's got a cool thing happening. It's on Instagram, and if you go to his Instagram, we'll put that at the end of the night. If you go to his Instagram, you can see that there is a new TV show that's going to be following his life as a Christian musician in Nashville. Super cool, and I'm super excited for Josh Nichols, our buddy from More Than This, Breakaway Ministries, and just all around good guy. Oh man, I am tired. The last few days, well, really the last few months, most of y'all know I've been working, trying to remodel my basement. Now, May 31st, a Sunday, we got a call from our son, said something happened downstairs. It's really bad. And so we came home, and it was really bad. Let's just say it was a crappy situation. And so I didn't know what to do about it other than just start cleaning it up and figure out what happened. And so we called our insurance company, and they were like, yeah, this is pretty bad. And they paid. It was cool because they paid and for us to fix it. And so we just started to fix it. And I know I've told some of y'all this already, but initially all I could think of was just put it back the way it was. That's all I could think of. You know why? Because in my limited ability when it comes to carpentry and design, anything like that, I have a very small mind when it comes to that. You know why? Because the only way I saw it was the only way that I had seen it. And so Beth had an idea, and we started dreaming a little bit. And so tonight, I'm going to walk through what the process of our remodel. And I'm going to do it in a way that then is going to bring us into a place where we can study this biblically, okay? So the first thing that we had to do was we had to face the facts that we were going to have to do something. And once you realize that you're forced now to do something. See, we'd lived here for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and downstairs didn't have a shower. And you could see where a shower could work, but fixing it to where the shower would work would require us to bust up the bathroom and change some things. We'd have to tear out some walls, and we just never wanted to do that. We wanted a shower, but never bad enough to do anything. And so what this remodel, what this disaster caused us to do was focus on, hey, you know what? This may be a good time, since we're going to be doing some things in the bathroom, to go ahead and put a shower in there. And at the beginning, that's what we decided. We're just going to open up the bathroom a little bit, put a shower in, and, kind of keep it close. So what do? When stuff gets messed up, you have to start taking it up. And so we took the carpet up, and it was up in the walls a little bit, and so we had to take some of the paneling off. And as we started to take the paneling off, we exposed the situation. And what had happened was, because there were some leaks in our house, long leaks, small leaks, but they had been there for a long time, and there was damage that had been covered, and we didn't know about it. And so as we started to remove those things, we saw, here's some of the things we saw. Number one, we saw damage. We saw past damage. We saw the damage that was done. We also saw some real shortcuts where people just kind of, instead of doing it right, they just did it. And so we saw that. And then we also saw, hey, you know what? This is going to be a lot for us to do. And so there was a little bit of overwhelm at the very beginning, where Beth and I both just kind of said, you know what? We're just going to put it back the way it was and not fix it. Well, we called my parents, and what do you do when you have a dream of something, but it's not in your wheelhouse. It's really not in something that you can do on your own. Spiritually, you know what we do? We call our Father, and we say, God, hey, if this is going to happen, you're going to have to help me. Well, physically, that's what we did. We called my father, who is built and remodeled his house, and called my mother and got their opinion. When my dad came up, my mom and dad came up, and they helped us kind of dream. Once the walls started coming down and once it started to open up, we were able to reimagine what that space could be. And so the first thing we had to do was we had to deconstruct it, and then we could reimagine it. And so I think I see 2020 as a time where a lot of things are getting deconstructed in the world, in our life, and we're able, if we have the eyes of faith, we're going to be able to reimagine things that we had only been able to see a certain way. And one of the things is right now I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm also at Secret Church with the students. And so technology is awesome. I've never used it like this. And so you're watching me now. I'm currently with students. If you're a student or a parent of students, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know what was going on. It's called Secret Church, and it's secret for a reason, okay? We're not getting together. We're not trying to do big, huge things. We're doing things in secret, and here's how you get in on the secret. Go to the bio or the about part of our page on Instagram and on Facebook. In there, you'll see a thing called Linktree. You click that. It says Secret Church Survey. There'll be a new one uploaded tonight or tomorrow. Do the survey, okay? Do the survey, and then the beginning of next week, we'll reveal where Secret Church is going to be next week. Pretty easy, but we're trying to keep the attendance low and the engagement high, if you can understand what I'm saying. So once people found out there was a Secret Church this week, they talk about how fun it was. Next week, Secret Church will grow, and that's how the church is going to grow in this time where we're not persecuted, but we're having to do things a little different. We're trying to think out of the box, and so get your kid involved, or if you want to help us, reach out to us and help us. All right, so we're reimagining things in 2020, and the reason we are is because of no fault of our own, most of us, coronavirus, okay? So we got to do things differently. That's totally okay. It's not a bad thing. All right. So the process of taking all the old stuff out was something I could do. I can tear up things, okay? I can really tear up things. And so I was really in my wheelhouse tearing up stuff. And so my dad came. He helped me start build things back. And as we were building them back, the part of the rebuild was the creativity, for me, just the pride of doing things that I've never done before, and being shown how to do things. I spent time with my dad, which was super cool. And so all of those things, in a spiritual sense, when things around you are deconstructed, be looking for the rebuild, because God doesn't leave us desolate. He doesn't leave us open and destroyed. He builds us back. He rebuilds our life, and He does it with us, okay? That is super exhilarating to me. And so the rebuild is awesome. Now we're at the last part, and we're at the part that is the hardest part, okay? So I want to talk to you about who you are, and why we're talking about this process of being recreated. Okay, I want you to see this in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. You'll see it there on the screen. I talk about this verse all the time, and it says this. It says, Ephesians 2:10 in the New Living Translation says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago." Now, the cool thing about that is, if you'll look, it says He created us and then He made a plan for us a long time ago. So there is a plan that maybe you're getting into it. Now, I want to show you this right here in Ephesians 2:10 in the Passion Translation. I want you to see what it says there. The masterpiece part, he calls it poetry. It says we have become his poetry. A recreated people that will fulfill the destiny he has given each of us. If you know me, you know that I talk about purpose and destiny all the time. Why? Because it is for me, it is the drive that we have been given each an individual purpose and destiny that gets me fired up. I'm talking about I'm fired up when I start to talk to a student or an adult about how God made them special and gave them a purpose and a destiny. And so we'll see that we're a recreated people, recreated in Jesus. We become a new creation, 2 Corinthians says. So he's given each of us a destiny, for we are joined to Jesus, the Anointed One, which is how we are recreated. We're actually being created into the people we were created to be. And sin got in the way. Now, if you look, it says, even before we were born, God planned in advance our destiny and the good works we would do to fulfill it. Okay? So, I want you to grasp this. And this can power you if you're not sure, if you're like in between whether God has a purpose and a plan for your life. I want you to understand that Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, right here in this Passion Translation, it says you are awesome. It says that God's going to fulfill the destiny he's given to you. All right? He's going to do it. He does it. Why? Because in him, we do not fail. Right? So even before we were born, God planned this in advance. He is the author and finisher of our faith. Remember, I talked about the hardest part for me was the finish. The hardest part for me right now is the finish work, the detail work. Why? Because it's time consuming. There's a definite skill to it. And it's right. But finishing is the hard part. Being able to look back at the finished product is the prize. Okay? Now, at the cross, man, I'm jumping ahead, but at the cross, Jesus said, "It is finished." What was he talking about? Was he just talking about that he finished what he was there to do? I think he did finish what he was there to do, but I don't think he was finished because he then had to go to hell. He took dominion, death over death and hell and the grave when he resurrected. So the cross wasn't the finish for Jesus. Jesus wasn't finished. Why? Because he came back, right? He resurrected. What was finished? What was finished, I think, was the separation between God and man. Jesus had paid the necessary price for us to come back into right relationship with God. That's powerful to me. Man, that's powerful to me. That fires me up. And so I want you to understand this. The hardest part of Jesus' life was the finish. All right. So there's some things, and one of the things, I'm going back to school. Most of y'all don't know. I'm going back to school. I'm getting blessed by being able to go back to school. Actually, super, super awesome. And so I don't even know if I can reveal how, but anyway, it's super awesome. I'm so honored. The thing that they asked me in this was, hey, what is your goal here? What's your goal? I mean, I'm at Abba's house. I'm, student ministry world. It's a large church. What's your goal? My number one thing was, I want to finish something. One of the jokes that Beth and I have is there's bathrooms all over Alabama that I never finished. Because I've always started projects and I just don't finish them. Why? Because the finish is where the detail is. And I get so distracted that attention to detail, coming up with a big, huge plan is not the hard part. The details are the hard part for me. And so now I'm at the finish side of this, and I'm determined to finish. I'm determined to do the caulk work. I'm determined to do the trim work. I'm determined to do the finished work. Why? Because when you finish something, there's such a satisfaction. There's such a satisfaction that you get to. Look at this verse right here. We're going to look at that full screen. Look at that full screen. It's Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. It says, I pray with great faith for you because I'm fully convinced that the one who began this glorious work in you will faithfully continue the process of maturing you and will put his finishing touches to it until the unveiling of our Lord Jesus Christ. And let me tell you what that says to me. That says, you know what? The thing that you hate to do, the thing that you dread to do, the thing that you're focusing on in your life is not even your job. Some of y'all are so worried about your rough edges that you spend more time trying to finish the rough edge of your life and you leave a gaping hole in other areas of your life. We get so focused on finishing on one thing, and let me tell you what this says. It says the one who began this work will finish the work, and he will put the finishing touches to it. What do you have to do? You have to accept it. You have to allow it. And you have to rest. See, grace is not just something that you confer on other people. It's something you receive. Grace is not just something you say at a meal or something that you forgive somebody, well, I have grace for them. No, grace is to be received, and God gives you grace in this. He is finishing the work. Man, I wish somebody right now, holla. I feel the Spirit on this. I feel the Spirit on this because I'm right in the middle of trying to finish. And I wish somebody would just come and say, you know what? I'm going to finish this for you. You ain't got to worry about this no more. I'm going to finish this for you. And as a matter of fact, it's already finished. You just don't see it yet. Oh, man. I don't know if it's because I'm tired or what, but that just makes me so... it's overwhelming. Jesus, when he said it is finished, he meant all of it. If you're out there today and you're wondering, is God paying attention to me? Is he engaged in me? Does he not see all this stuff? Trust me, you're in a part of this process. You're in a part of the recreation process, and you may be in the deconstruction phase. Because you can't reimagine your life any other way than the way it is. And sometimes God has to deconstruct, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. He has to move something that you love out of your life so that he can reconstruct what's really meant to be there. Or could it be that you are just in that place where it's time to rebuild, and that's the hard part? But it's also the good part, man. It's where God's with you every day and he's helping you along the way. But the finish, we're all in the process of the finish. And when I read this verse today, I was like, whoo, holy moly, this is preaching to me. Because he put his finishing touches until the unveiling of our Lord Jesus Christ. Trust God. He not only began his work, he's going to mature you in the work, and he's going to do the finishing touches. Why? Because he never leaves anything undone. And that includes you and I. Man, I love y'all. I love you, love you, love you. Love you, love you, love you. And I believe that this word is a right now word for a right now time. And so we're going to go into worship. We're going to go into worship with Josh Nichols. And go to Josh's Instagram page. He's got some cool stuff coming up. He puts out a song like almost every day. They're super good. Go to his Instagram page, follow him. But let's just worship God for a little while together. And I will see you soon. Don't forget, Secret Church. Next.
Peace, bring it all to peace. The storm surrounding me, let it break. At your name still, call the sea to still, the rage in me to still every way. At your name